Welcome to the final installment of Project P38. In this last episode, we'll get it sorted mechanically, detail it, photograph it, then get it listed on Cars and Bids. Also take it for one last drive, enjoy it, and reflect on the ownership experience thus far. And really hope it doesn't break down one last time. Thanks so much for checking out the series. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a comment. Let me know what I should do for the next build. And if you're so inclined, head on over to carsandbids.com at the end of this episode where you can bid on this. It'll be live with no reserve. All right, into a new shop this time that I've been referred to by two different people. One guy at a stoplight with the P38, another one by my plumber, but they do old Land Rovers. I've got a check engine light that keeps popping up every 100 miles or so for the SAI system. Car runs great, it's really just an emissions thing, but I'd like to get this passed through smog. So hoping they can sort it out, hoping that it's only there a couple days, but I've never been to the shop personally, so anything could happen. Wish me luck.
3 days later.
Alright, so long story short, the car stood at a shop for 3 days. It didn't make any progress. I said that's enough and pulled the plug. They did do an inspection, so I know what I need to fix, which is basically the two knock sensors and then the SAI pump, which was $500. So we're gonna start knocking those off. I hope to have it done by this weekend so I can drive it and get it smogged. But this is now the 10th time I thought I would get it smogged, so we will see. I knocked out both knock sensor codes. For this one, I had to run new wiring, which you can see right here. It had disconnected completely. I need to clean it up and tuck it out of the way. And then the knock sensor on the other side of the engine was just loose, so I had to tighten it. Hallelujah. Now we just gotta wait for the SAI pump to come in, which should be here any minute.
A lot of boring math later.
Whoa, careful we don't hit Daddy's Lambo.
And the final piece of the puzzle, new pump, old pump. They look the same. This is a genuine part and hopefully it just bolts right up. New SAI pump installed if anyone tries to do this at home. 1, 2, third bolt underneath. And then this plugs in, that plugs in. It's literally a 5-minute job. The book on it is an hour and a half, so you can save yourself a couple $100 by doing it yourself. And oddly, the parts are cheaper online than through your shop anyways. All right, and confirm, no DTCs. At this exact moment, it looks good. I've reset the clock to 0. So the trick is you have to drive it about 100 miles before it is ready to pass smog again. There's a readiness sensor in there. I have to now just drive it and hope that nothing comes back up. And if so, it is smog and it is ready for sale. Well, Doug totally schooled me on our text thread we have here. You can't just drive 100 miles and assume that's gonna get your smog readiness state. I guess that's like an old wise tale from the forums. Probably 100 miles of driving will do it eventually, but there's a specific sequence for each car you have to go through. For this car, 0 to 35 twice with light pressure, which I'm doing right now. There's 35, and then you hold it for a bit. And then you do 0 to 45 with moderate pressure twice, and then 0 to 55, and that allows it to go through like so many gear changes. You have to let it just idle for 8 to 15 minutes. There's like a bunch of different things you do for it to cycle through all the different drive cycles. So you can just drive 100 miles. I am really glad I was about to just literally go on a long road trip, and I don't think that would have actually hit all the drive cycles. So the 100 miles is more like if you're driving normally, you probably accidentally go through them. So word to the wise, don't just drive around like an aimless idiot like I was planning to. Moment of truth, we're on the way to the smog station right now, and I'm fully confident it'll pass. Doug has assured me it absolutely will not. No check engine lights and the readiness all passes or showing is ready, so I don't see why not. Will the state of California agree that Project P38 is roadworthy? Stay tuned, I'll know in about 10 minutes. I am so nervous. This is either gonna ruin my weekend or make me the happiest person on earth. We passed! If for anyone who wonders why I'm so excited, I can now sell to anyone in the state of California. They can get it registered. It's good for 90 days, but the auction should go live within a week or two of filming this. So I am pumped. That is the hardest I've ever worked to pass a test in my entire life. And I am so happy. Yellow P38 is all ready for sale. So if you're watching this far into the video, I think pretty much all that's left is a final road trip to say goodbye and enjoy her. But she is smog compliant and sadly she is ready for a new home. I'm really gonna miss this car. All right, it's been a pain finding the right shop for this place. The AC just went out, so I dropped off at my local Porsche mechanic, and they're willing to help me out since I'm a regular customer of theirs. So thank you to Eurofix Flat 6. We're gonna get the AC fixed, which funny enough went out as I was leaving the SMOG station. So the P38 is a gift that keeps on giving. $900 later, new AC. Look at that beautiful piece of machinery and an otherwise thing. The O-rings, which came from here and here, was also leaking and replaced. That is why I had to top up the Freon is the leak. So whenever you're topping up your Freon, try to figure out the root cause, not just the symptom. And of course, bolts snapped here, so you can see what's left of one of the bolts that was holding that in. So it wasn't a fun repair job from my mechanic, but they took care of me and it was done in the same day. So AC is now ice cold. I feel like a used car salesman saying it, but it was no small feat here. Another yellow car. Woo! Okay, to fix the infamous fuel door latch, you can see here's the old one, it's a little broken, and here's a new one, $4 part, and it just pops right in. So I think this should fix our problems here. That goes in like that. It's hard to do this one-handed. For the real test here, stay shut. All right. Look at that beading. I love ceramic coating so much. It's so cool. Glass too everywhere. You can just see nothing sticks. So cool. Frank, the photographer's garage, is taking the car for some pictures. He's loading up now and about to drive off. Oh, she looks so good leaving.
Hi, I'm Frank, a professional automotive photographer, and you might know me as the photographer's garage on Cars and Bids and Instagram and all of the things, and I would just taking pictures of the Borrego edition Land Rover, the P38, and yeah, I mean, as far as taking pictures of cars, how do you do it? A camera is helpful. Get a camera. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. If you're just trying to get it done for an auction listing, use a cell phone. You have it. You know how to use it. Do that. Otherwise, if you do have a nicer camera, a polarizing filter is killer. And then also find good light. Today we got lucky. It's been overcast all day. It's been nice, even lighting. I don't have to go find shade or sun, depending on what I'm trying to shoot. So a day like this is ideal. And have a nice, clean car. Make sure your car is clean. Nobody wants to see a dirty car. Hopefully that's helpful. Here's some photos of this P38.
I like to do a Blackstone oil analysis. It's 35 bucks. They mail you a prepaid envelope with a thing to collect the sample. So you just got to get under the car and put a minimal amount of oil in there. It's a bit messy, but not that bad. Then after a couple weeks, they give you a readout like this. Overall, it tested very well. Most importantly, no water or antifreeze. If a head gasket were on the way out or broken, both of these would be leaking into the oil, and that would be an expensive repair. So the buyer knows head gaskets are fine right now. Also no metal, maybe a bit elevated, but normal for a 1,000-mile run. So nothing to suggest a problem. If there's a lot of metal in there, that means the internals are failing or there's something else catastrophic going on. So again, this is basically a blood test or a sanity check to say head gaskets are fine, oil's fine, no metal shavings in the oil or anything to be too alarmed or worried about. Now that all the pictures are taken, the repairs are done, and the car's ready to go live, you just go to Cars and Bids, click the sell with us. The first part of the form is really easy. It's like a couple pictures, a couple details. Just, they tell you if you are accepted or not. So I think it took maybe half an hour. I had to go through and like black out all my receipts so that people wouldn't stalk me. I uploaded those, the pictures. The auction system was actually really great. Asked me some clarifying questions, and now it is all ready to go live. It is approved though, and so it'll go live soon. I actually don't want to let it go. I'm kind of sad, but the listing looks absolutely sick. So great job to Frank on the pictures. The good pictures really pay off here. Here's the preview of my listing. It should be live by the time you're seeing this, but the pictures, we've got 296 here, nothing for anyone to question, including like close-ups of all the various dings and flaws. I think more important than having the car be perfect is just to be perfectly honest about what condition it's in. So anyone who buys this knows exactly what they're getting into. They can see the undercarriage really well here, the various receipts, the keys, the manuals, the VIN, any rust spots, etc. Really pumped with how this turned out, and you can see even more down here. So it's approved. It was a great process. I'm so excited to see how it does. Here we go, the Borrego to Borrego. It is 5:13 in the morning. We are just leaving my house and I am ready for a little one last adventure. My friends think that this car won't make it round trip. It is over 100 degrees. I'm getting a bit of an early start. We will see how it does. It's about a 2-hour drive there, 2-hour drive back. I want to explore a little bit while I'm there, so leaving a little after 5, hopefully home around 10, and this should be a good test of all of my mechanical work to see how well the car's running after all. We are about 1 hour in, the temperature's doing great. I watched the sunrise, which is always amazing. Just went through the town of Ramona, and we are now about 50 miles away from Borrego. We are through Ramona. I'm not honestly sure exactly where I am, but well over an hour into the trip now. It is beautiful. I'm having a great time. It is 6:15. Yellow P38 is definitely a good cruiser. And this road is also windy, and we've been going uphill forever. But holy moly, look at that view. Views on views. Yellow hood, orange sun. I'm loving this drive. This is a little nuts, but that's okay. San Diego is like pretty flat and at sea level, and my ears are popping, and this is gnarly. I'm loving this drive. I should probably come back in a sports car, but something about the P38, just a mellow cruiser. I'm for once in my life going below the speed limit often when given the choice, so I'm 10 minutes out. I'm excited to check out a couple different trailheads here, but this drive is really pretty. Look at that. We made it. We are at the Borrego State Park in California with the Borrego Edition P38. I thought it was only fitting for my final joyride in the car to take a drive. So if you don't know, and frankly, even Land Rover enthusiasts don't quite know what the Borrego Edition is, allegedly there was 100 of them made. It was made specifically for the California market in honor of the Borrego State Park, which has yellow wildflowers. Right now, it's the middle of summer. These cars only came with yellow paint to match the yellow wildflowers. It also came up with an upgraded interior in Oxford leather. It had the 6-spoke Comet wheels, a handful of other cosmetic upgrades, but really this was the last model year of the P38. Like most manufacturers, they were having trouble moving the product. Everyone knew a new model was coming out, so they came out with a number of special editions. There was a Rhino edition that had like fake Rhino interior, which is pretty wild. A Holland and Holland edition that was after a gun manufacturer. There was a number of special P38s. This was always my favorite. The yellow is so cool, whether that's a layer cake movie or what have you. But living in California, less than 100 miles away from the Borrego State Park, I wanted to reunite the P38 with its namesake and also just check it out myself. So for now, I'm pumped. The car did great. It was a really smooth, easy cruiser. I think a highly underrated road trip car. Didn't overheat. We'll see on the way back up because I gotta go up a hill, but I'm really happy with how it performed. Let's go. One cool thing out in Borrego is there's this giant sculpture park. So here is a camel for some reason. You can do like basically light off-roading with all of these metal sculptures. They are sure as heck gonna do it since I drove 2 hours to get here, and I'm gonna have a little fun. These statues are so strange yet so cool. Like this is like a part rat, part dinosaur thing, and it's maybe stubbed its toe on a Lego. I'm not quite sure what the artist was going for, but I'm here for it. And if you thought all those other sculptures were weird, here's the final boss, a giant serpent coming out of the ground. And dude is just gnarly. Look at this. And I'm 6 foot tall. This thing's at least double my height. So pretty cool. It is a shame this didn't make it into the Borrego edition as a hood ornament. Let's mock it up. That's what they could have done, just like that. How cool would that have been? We are back from the Borrego to Borrego expedition. There were no breakdowns, no problems. Doug, a few other of my friends asked, aren't you a little crazy doing this after you fix everything? What if it breaks again? What if you have a check engine light? To me, that was exactly the point. I can't guarantee this car is going to be perfect for the next owner, but A shakedown like this proves to me and anyone else that, hey, I fixed the majority of the issues and I'm reasonably confident that we are good from here. I'm at Cars and Coffee. I'm gonna meet up with Kenan. I got him an apple pie, funny enough, when I stopped by in Julian. So the car made it. I'm really stoked. It was actually a really nice drive. I don't get a lot of me time these days, so just having some quiet time to catch up and think was really great. And now we are back. There's just insane cars everywhere. I'm glad to be home, and I'm excited to park this for a little while when I get back to home. We're nearing the end of this project, so let me just recap how far we've come and where we started. I have had so much fun with this car, from taking it to the beach, picking up the kids at daycare and letting them play in it, going off-roading with the crew, just all around town. I put almost 1,500 miles on it since April, so pretty good for a fourth car that doesn't get driven a lot. Remember, this car came with us with a traction control light, an ABS light. A check engine light would have been illuminated had it not been burned out, among a whole other bunch of issues. A ripped seat, dents on pretty much every panel, a ripped up bumper, and so on. So it's taken a lot to get it from here. Outside cosmetically, other than the paint fade, it's in really good shape. New bumper, new grille guards, the fog lights work. There are no check engine lights whatsoever, and it actually runs really, really smooth. Like, I am proud and impressed with how comfortable the car is daily. So as far as a P38 can be, which is a stretch, but it's sorted for now. The next owner will certainly have some maintenance ahead of them because that's what this car does. But I would say it's in really good shape now, and it certainly wasn't when we got it. So a lot of value has been added. In fact, about $7 grand of maintenance so far. So more than I paid for the car, maybe about the same when you factor in shipping, but I do think the next owner will have a bit smoother sailing from here on out. So spending $7 grand on maintenance for a car for roughly 5 months of ownership might sound crazy, but I have to say the P38 ownership experience was amazing. It may be a little high maintenance at first. I do think it'll get better, but the driving position, the look of this car, the smoothness of it, it is honestly one of my favorite cars I've ever owned, and I've had some cool stuff in my day. If I could choose between my Cayenne and this, every single time I would pick this. Unless the AC was acting up, then I would pick the Cayenne. But the AC, $900 later, also works great. So this is my choice 10 out of 10 times now. That being said, you know, it's not for everyone, right? The reason why these have gotten so cheap is that previous owners bought them because they were cheap and then couldn't afford the upkeep, or they just didn't have the patience or the wherewithal to do it. So knowing who you bought it from is really important. I think this example will be great for the right person because they'll know everything that's gone into it and that the maintenance is no longer deferred. It's caught up. But many of the cars you look at, yes, they might be cheap, but you do need to factor in 5, maybe 10 grand of deferred maintenance before it's reliable. So hopefully this is the right opportunity for someone. That being said, think about what else you could buy under $20,000 that's a fun SUV. For me personally, maybe a G-Wagon, a Bronco. They all have the boxy off-roader look that would be cool to Cars and Coffee. Those are gonna be 2 to 5 times more expensive to buy that same car. So yes, you pay a little bit more in maintenance, but the level of coolness you're getting and enjoyment you're getting out of the car relative to the purchase price and maintenance costs is still a tremendous value. The amount of people that react to this car, that love this car, especially in yellow, it's really hard to beat. I am so pumped. I hope to own another one day, but that really brings it to the biggest question I'm getting right now, which is, you just got the car, why are you selling? And to be honest, I wouldn't be selling it had I not promised Doug and the Cars and Bids crew that as part of this video series, we would immediately sell it. If it were up to me, I'd probably keep it and enjoy it for another year or two. But at the same time, I love having project cars. I want to experience as many cars as I can. My thought is, if I live to be 100, I've got about 60 years left. And if I buy and sell 1 car a year, that gives me 60 cars I can enjoy before I die. So P38 will always have a special part in my heart, but it's on to the next project. I hope to do another YouTube series like this. So if you have an idea of a car, maybe one that's known for being unreliable, that would be fun to see on the Cars and Bids channel, definitely leave me a comment. But for now, I really appreciate it if you check this out. I hope you enjoyed the P38 half as much as I did. And if you're so inclined, please go bid, take care of her, whoever owns her next, and I hope to hear updates from the new owner. Peace.